Welcome to Episode 5, Reform and Turmoil, the Gracchi brothers. The late 2nd century BCE was a period of significant social and political upheaval in the Roman Republic. Central to this era were the Gracchi brothers, Tiberius and Gaius Gracchus, whose efforts to address social inequities and implement reforms led to profound changes and considerable turmoil. Their actions and the reactions they provoked revealed deep-seated issues within Roman society and governance, setting the stage for future conflicts and the eventual decline of the Republic. Tiberius and Gaius Gracchus were born into a distinguished Roman family. Their father, Tiberius Sempronius Gracchus, was a celebrated general and statesman, and their mother, Cornelia, was the daughter of Scipio Africanus, the hero of the Second Punic War. This illustrious lineage afforded the brothers a privileged upbringing and a strong sense of duty to Rome. Despite their noble birth, the Gracchi brothers were acutely aware of the growing social and economic disparities in Rome. By the 2nd century BCE, the Roman Republic had expanded significantly, leading to substantial changes in its economic and social structure. The influx of wealth from conquests had enriched a small elite while impoverishing many ordinary citizens, particularly small farmers who were displaced by the expansion of large estates, latifundia, worked by slaves. Tiberius Gracchus, the elder of the two brothers, was elected tribune of the plebs in 133 BCE. As tribune, Tiberius proposed a series of agrarian reforms aimed at addressing the land crisis and the plight of the dispossessed farmers. His main proposal, the Lex Sempronia Agraria, sought to redistribute public land, ager publicus, that had been unlawfully occupied by wealthy landowners. The law aimed to limit the amount of public land that any individual could hold and redistribute the excess to landless citizens, thereby restoring the small farming class and alleviating economic inequality. Tiberius's reforms were revolutionary and threatened the interests of the wealthy senatorial class. Tiberius bypassed the Senate, which was hostile to his reforms, and took his proposal directly to the tribal assembly, where it was approved. This move heightened tensions between the populares, the faction supporting the reforms, and the optimates, the faction defending the interests of the elite. Tiberius's actions challenged traditional political norms and the authority of the Senate, escalating the conflict. In 133 BCE, Tiberius sought re-election as tribune, a move seen as an attempt to consolidate his power and protect his reforms. This unprecedented action alarmed the Senate, leading to a violent confrontation. Tiberius and many of his supporters were killed in a riot orchestrated by the Senate and its allies. His death marked the first instance of political violence in Rome, setting a dangerous precedent for future conflicts. A decade after the death of Tiberius, his younger brother Gaius Gracchus took up the mantle of reform. Elected tribune of the plebs in 123 BCE, Gaius was determined to continue his brother's work and expand the scope of reforms. He possessed exceptional oratory skills and a clear vision for addressing Rome's social and economic issues. Gaius's reforms were more comprehensive than those of Tiberius. He reintroduced and expanded the agrarian reforms, but his agenda also included measures to curb the power of the Senate and improve the conditions of the urban poor. Among his notable reforms were the Lex Fermentaria, which provided subsidized grain to the poor, and the Lex Militaris, which aimed to improve conditions for soldiers, including the provision of clothing and equipment at state expense. Gaius also sought to diminish the Senate's influence by transferring judicial powers to the equestrian class, the Quites, a wealthy but politically marginalized group. This move was intended to create a counterbalance to the senatorial power and increase accountability. Furthermore, Gaius proposed the establishment of colonies to provide land for the poor and reduce overcrowding in Rome. His most ambitious plan was to grant Roman citizenship to all Latin allies, thereby integrating them more fully into the Roman state. This proposal, however, faced strong opposition from those who feared the dilution of Roman political power. Gaius's reforms, like those of his brother, faced fierce resistance from the optimates. His radical proposals and growing influence alarmed the Senate, leading to increasing political tensions. In 121 BCE, Gaius sought a third term as tribune, but his opponents exploited the political climate to turn public opinion against him. The opposition organized armed gangs to intimidate Gaius and his supporters. A riot ensued on the Aventine Hill, and the Senate, invoking the Senatus Consultum Ultimum, a decree giving consuls emergency powers, authorized the use of force. Gaius and many of his followers were killed in the ensuing violence. The deaths of the Gracchi brothers marked a turning point in Roman history. Their efforts to address economic inequality and implement reforms exposed deep-seated issues within the Republic, including the concentration of wealth and power in the hands of the few, the erosion of traditional values, and the increasing resort to violence in political disputes. The Gracchi's legacy had a profound impact on Roman politics. Their reforms, though partially implemented, highlighted the need for change and inspired future populares leaders like Gaius Marius and Julius Caesar. The violent response to their efforts set a dangerous precedent for the use of force in resolving political conflicts, contributing to the eventual decline of the Republic. The period following the Gracchi brothers was marked by increasing social and political instability. The struggle between the populares and optimates intensified, leading to further reforms, power struggles, and civil wars. The Gracchi's vision of a more equitable society and their willingness to challenge the status quo left an indelible mark on Roman history.